Welcome to Sports Plug Podcast. You already know what it is. It's me, Chris, and, well, it's a little light, but you know what I'm saying. It's me and Chris in this bitch. We're going to give y'all what y'all need. Sports Plug Podcast right at you. So today we're going to talk about a couple things. I mean, since it is whatever day it is, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Let's just jump it off with the shameless plugs. Chris, what you want the people to know about?
Man, I want them to know about my goddamn fantasy team. How pissed off I am that these two motherfucking Jameis Winston and Cam Newton out here dressing crazy as fuck. But I still rock the suit, though, Trey. I still rock the suit.
I
But
will
either
say,
or, they killed me in fantasy. Like, Cam did me all right, but Christian McCaffrey did nothing. And Mike Evans did nothing. Like, nothing at all. Eating
well,
what dubs?
so I guess I get this shit out of my face. I'm tired of the eating dubs. Actually, if we're going to start there, I have Cam Newton in the league. Cam is doing me dirty right now. It looks like my boy don't even want to play football right now. But I was watching some, Chris. I know you watched the game last night. Since we're going to get into fantasy first, if y'all haven't caught on, we're going to talk about our fantasy first. Shout out to the Man Up League. Shout out to Coach Pat. We're in there. And after one of us dominates your league, we will rename it to the Sports Plug League.
Definitely gonna get renamed to the Sports Plug League as long as don't nobody get injured on my joint. One of hey, look, I'm trying to come through and stop people.
Hey, I'm trying to. So if you watched the game last night, you started with Jameis, and since they both played last night, one thing I noticed was like, did you think like, is it me or I know Cam's having this issue, or does it look like he don't trust his line because they pretty trash out there? They look like they collapse every play. Maybe not as bad as what you guys have to go through in Houston, but like no shots. But you know what I'm saying? You would know a bad line and be able to tell me about it. And so when I was watching the game, I just thought I thought his line did him in a lot. I think that's why a lot of his passes are accurate because Cam looked like he's trying to get rid of it so he don't get hit no more.
Man, bro, before I say anything about that, the irony that the Texans would sign a lineman who Carolina cut.
True.
They
True.
drafted with a #1 pick.
True.
As bad as their offensive line is looking, that should tell you everything. But nah, bro, it do look like he just tried. Man, bro, I think the reality of it is, man, a lot of these quarterbacks who like were mobile and able to break the mold as far as allowing that to get to the next level. Man, them dudes been taking a pounding because those teams never got offensive line help for them.
Exactly.
Like they figured, well, this guy can run, so let's get everything else. Like Lamar Jackson looks better out there because they got linemen in Baltimore. Yeah,
they do.
Like they have a good offensive line, so they're not asking him to run out of the fact that we can't give you time. He's running out of the fact that, man, everybody back is facing me and they're covering a man, so I'm out. So it's a different type of. He's not taking the same hits Deshaun Watson are taking, and Cam Newton is taking those kind of hits. Like, yeah, he runs a lot and he does play a more violent type, but a lot of his running is just out of the fact that, man, he's dropping back and he's already having to roll out of the pocket because it's collapsed already.
Yes, because 5'8" was killing them last night. I just was watching. I was watching him killing them last night. Cam got me 12 points. I was disappointed. His inaccuracy is just over. It seems like at times I'm like, why are you throwing the ball so hard at this dude? He throws the ball extremely hard at them cats, and I'd be like, sometimes I'm like, you gotta lay it in, like you always say. Sometimes the good corner, you gotta lay it in there so the guy can catch it. Nah, he doesn't. He throws it like Brett Favre on cocaine. Like it's coming out. But he got me 12 points. I was my most disappointing player of the night. And this isn't even in the Man Up League, but everybody that had him. If you had OJ Howard, my prayers and condolences go to you. And fuck Jameis Winston. Excuse my French. Okay, Jameis, you had a good game. But, bro, I have never seen. They drafted him 19th in the first round. And he did not get one target. And if you watch the game like we were watching, he was open. He was open. He just wasn't getting the ball. So, with that being said, hey, that's bullshit by Jameis.
Hey, Pat, I don't got OJ Howard. And I don't got Mike Evans in this Man Up League. I got this dude Godwin. And shit, for some odd reason, Jameis is throwing it to Godwin. So,
he's eating.
Man up.
Exactly. So what else in that league? Well, of course, today the games have not all been played. If you'd like to go back to last week,
I like
was
to go back to last week. Definitely Monday.
week one.
Before we get to week two, since this is before week two, I
Okay.
want to go back to Monday first, bro.
Okay.
Like, I truly think that the Texans are about to lose a lot of games like that, bro. Like, we've done a terrible job identifying personnel. Like, bruh, it's real simple. I ain't gonna say it's real simple, but it's real simple. It's 6 seconds left, my nigga. 6 seconds. Like, either Drew Brees is finna throw the ball 60 yards and score a touchdown, or they're gonna kick a field goal.
True.
Like, and if they're gonna throw the ball 60 yards, that means unless these dudes are clocking 3.940s, it's gonna take them at least 6 seconds to get down there. So
True.
by the time they down there, now you looking at just a heave in the air, and we see what happened. If you lose on some shit like that, so be it, bro. But not on some shit where this dude pointed to his receiver, told him to go right here, right in front of their cornerback, who's 12 yards off the ball. Like, come on, man. Y'all play like it's like one of those we can't get out of our own way. Like, I ain't trying to throw shots at y'all, but we're like the Cowboys from like 6, 7, like when Romo was at the hat. Like, it's not the other teams, it's us. We're in our own way. Like, how and it's one of them. I get what people say they are. Y'all trade Jadeveon Clowney. And granted, yes, it would have helped to have. You're not better without Jadeveon Clowney.
True.
But I'll take you back to last year. We lost to Seattle the same way. Like, we gave them like 50 seconds with no timeouts, and they beat us. The Patriots beat us last year the same way. Andrew Luck beat us last year the same way. Like, we're giving teams the ball back with a minute. Like, I get it. The football game is a game of inches and yards, and it's a long game. But at the end of the day, we're here. It's tied. It's a minute, bro. You cannot be playing 12 yards off of receivers. Like, if Drew Brees would have hit us with a 50-yard bomb and a dude caught it going into the end zone, we lost. Cool. Fuck it. It's Drew Brees. But my nigga, Will Lutz, it's indoors. The dude, he looked like he could have hit it from like 64, bro.
He
like,
did. He booted the shit out of that. When they said before he kicked it, as we've all seen, like kicking in the dome, they could kick it 60 plus. They could get it off as long as they get the time. But I wanted to ask you another question. Since we're on that game, what do you think about seeing what we saw happen to Andrew Luck and these hits that Deshaun Watson taking? Because as a person that's not a fan watching from the outside, I just go ahead and tell you, this is nuts. I've seen this twice from y'all's team in the time that y'all been a team, and I'm wondering like who's at the helm that thinks that quarterbacks don't need protection, because he doesn't just get hit, he gets obliterated. Yes.
Bruh, and the difference between him and Cam Newton is like 70 pounds.
Yes.
Like,
he needs some milk.
My only issue, bro, with the Clowney trade, like, I get you weren't gonna sign the guy. He wasn't gonna be here, whether we like it or dislike it. But you knew this in early January.
True.
Like, it wasn't like we was playing in February. You knew this before the playoffs ended. Before the Colts. You knew this when he jumped off sides against the Colts in that playoff game, that you wasn't trying to bring him back. You knew it that day. You knew. You can't tell me he didn't know that day. True. That he didn't want to. You got rid of him anyways. So that means that the last memory you had was him jumping off sides, and you didn't want to bring him back. And if that's the case, go get you some linemen, bro. Like,
I really find it like weird that like we in this NFL we watch these teams like, what the fuck is the problem? Like, why can't you have linemen? Like, you need linemen. You know that linemen elevate the play of everybody else because you have time to run your plays. Yet we have teams out here, like you said, we're running quarterbacks, some with pocket passes, that just put anybody out there, let these guys get crushed and say they can't play.
Hey, one thing I give you, because I know we always argue on GM, coach, who needs to be better as a player, all that. I do think that offensive line coach is an issue. I don't think that there are good offensive line coaches. Like, in the few there are, like, think of it, like the 5 teams, like the Cowboys, yeah, they're like, last year to me was a good example, bro. Like, y'all didn't have all of y'all stars, but the dudes y'all trotted out there were still respectable. They were still better than an average offensive line.
I think also what we have to look at too is I think there are coaches out there, but a lot of the coaches don't want to leave the old way of blocking. Like the guys block different now. They don't block pushing forward or trying to run forward or block. You know, it's more finesse. It's more
stand still.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hold your spot, and that's the issue. But if you look at the Cowboys, they not standing still. They firing off the ball and they knocking people back. And if you do that, bro, eventually it makes it hard on the D line, bro. Like, and the Texans aren't, like, you don't have good, like, yeah, you wouldn't got, like, I like the Laramie Tunsil deal. I mean, I get it. They're playing a lot of people out. He gave up. Say they're in New Orleans, bro. Like, at a certain point, you could tell that New Orleans knew our count. The few times they jumped off sides, they were just going out. It's a dome. It's super loud in there. So for sure, they was just fuck it. We know they count. They can't go out here and try to go for it like a hut. That shit got to be the first snap so they can get it out. So they was like, I ain't gonna really hold that against them. I see what he gonna do this week in Jacksonville. But last weekend, man, I put that on Billy O and whoever their GM staff is for not fucking scouting DBs. Like, if you got to play 12 yards off, them ain't the guys.
Yeah,
like them ain't the guys. True. Like, I'd rather you go find some more guys.
You can't play 12 yards off Drew Brees and just let him play pitch and catch with somebody because he's going to kill you every time. And we've seen it done by many coaches, and no one really knows why. They may be scared of a penalty, but as we saw last night, shit, just throw a red flag and it can fuck everything up.
Man, bro, I know what they scared of, and I know my football peers who saying this. That 3rd and 2 where the Texans had the Patriots backed up, and we did play man on them. I mean, not the Patriots, but the Saints. We had them backed up. We did play man up on them on the corners, and they beat us over the top. So at that point, like Aaron Colvin, I'm glad he got cut. Deuce. Like, get out.
Hey, it's not all I told this to Dallas. I said, man, Colvin's OU corner. Why are you drafting OU cornerbacks? We had the worst defense for like the past 3 years. Like, we haven't played defense in 3 years, and you got an OU cornerback on our team, which I think he's older than that, to be honest. But at the same time, we've never produced
y'all ain't never
corners.
Been a defensive team. He ain't that old. Like, he ain't been in the league for 3 years. Like, hey, but shout out Kenny Stills though. He did come out after a week of practice. Hey, look, he know how to run the post route. Like,
but that's what y'all needed, because y'all need someone else that knows how to play receiver next to Nuke, because that's just going to get him open catch. I think Kenny Stills realized what he can do. I will say, Cam only got 5 points last week.
I say this, and this may sound crazy, but at this point in the season, I would shop either QT or Fuller for a lineman.
I can see that happening. I'll say a team, since we are talking to Texas football and what happened this past weekend, I will say a team that I am very happy to watch and was happy to see Sunday, and a team that didn't know what we were doing was the New York Giants. Now, I do think the New York Giants may be asked. The fact that they gave the ball to Saquon Barkley, and after he broke for 59 yards, they stopped giving him the ball. I don't understand that, but I will say the Cowboys look real good. One thing I noticed about Dak Prescott was someone else mentioned this, but I won't give him credit right now, was the fact that he's getting the ball out extremely fast. He knows exactly where he wants to go with it, and he's no longer holding the ball, hoping not to make or trying not to make a mistake that'll hurt the team. I won't say he now is, it's only one game, but he's making plays. That guy right there deserves the money. I will say you can tell that he's practiced. I hate when players don't practice. It's mind-boggling. It just pisses me off. But you can tell that he's practiced. The accuracy looks like 20 times better. The key to this game that I think a lot of people don't want to mention or haven't mentioned, some have, but the fact that we didn't use Zeke a whole lot. I'm not going to get into the whole numbers of everything, but we didn't use him a whole lot. It was mostly Dak carving them apart. And I will say, before this year, before what we just saw, Cowboys are not winning the game unless Zeke gets about 30 carries, 25 to 30 carries in the game. So I really like seeing that. The defense, I'm gonna say, I like what I see, but I'm gonna wait for them to get a bigger challenge. I believe this week it's Washington, and I think that this is gonna be a rivalry game. But Washington, we saw how porous their defense was, so I expect to see Dak go over the top. I just like the performance. I can't put too much on it. If Cowboy fans out there, I'm sorry if you want me to break it down a whole lot. We played the Giants.
And the Giants,
the Giants are bad. They might be tanking. They might. I don't know what they're tanking for because they already got a quarterback. They just don't want to play him. But they're out there doing the tank. Speaking of tanking, as I want to move on.
Hey, can I say? I wanted to say one thing on that. Like, I know this is gonna be contrary to everything, but the Cowboys championship hopes to me hinge on that. Like, we know what Zeke is gonna give. Like, we know what Zeke is gonna do. Like, but the reality is when you get to game 18, 19, and 20, those teams are gonna stack the box. And they're gonna say, you gotta beat us, Dak. And if Dak can do what he did against the Giants, I won't lie to you. It's going to be tough to beat y'all. Because, I mean, you have to respect Ezekiel Elliott. And all Dak really got to do is that, what he did. But it also goes to me, bro, saying some players get better. Like, sometimes it ain't about scheming. It ain't about coaching. It's about a guy saying, you know what? I'm going to go out here and get better. And shoot, if he gets better, like, man, it's really tough. And I always really like Dak. I don't like the Cowboys. I don't. But I like Dak back when he beat Alabama. And I say one thing, with the exception of Johnny Football, all the dudes who beat Bama, I mean, shout out Zeke. All doing, like, maybe that could be something to be said. Y'all got the two people. It ain't many people who beat Bama in the last decade, but those two guys did.
Y'all got one of them in Houston, and he seems pretty good too. So, you know what I'm saying? I agree with that 100%. If you get past those, we'll talk about college in a minute, but when you get past those guys, it is something to look forward. I wouldn't say his team beat Bama, but I said the same thing about Michael Gallup. When I said watch his film, don't pay attention to a lot of the games, pay attention to the game against Alabama. He was killing those dudes. Like, he was out there killing them. And he looked like an NFL receiver versus college opponents. But I wanted to ask you a question because I know you like to dip your toe into the bullshit that is some of the teams tanking in the NFL. What do you think of the Dolphins and the fact that Minka Fitzpatrick said, y'all got me mixed up with a nigga down the street? I am not going to sit here and lose these games while y'all try to get a fucking quarterback that I played against. That tells you something, that I played against in college on my team. Was two there? Two was there when Minka was there, wasn't he?
He was the red shirt.
He's the red shirt. Okay.
Was the starter.
So I imagine he practiced against him, and I imagine that tells me something. If he's saying, I ain't staying here so y'all can draft him. I just think it's hilarious the fact that now I was talking to somebody today and I said these NFL players they gotta have NBA friends. And someone had to ask one of the NBA homies, man, what do you do about this tank? How do you take control like y'all did? And someone probably just woke up and said, bro, like, who are they gonna get to play for you? Like, replacement players don't work. Like,
man, bro. But the issue that they run into is they friends might be the star of the NBA team. Like, hey, look, PJ Tucker ain't doing all of that. Like I get James Harden, but look, the issue with the Dolphins, bro, is, man, they not good. Like, that's just the reality.
But they're trying not to be good. Like, they're trying not. Mika probably mad because they got rid of the plug. Tulsa probably had all the trees. And man, so you get rid of
and that lets you know even more how stupid the Texans are. Being that we were scared to get beat over the top, they have a safety / corner who's I ain't saying great. I don't be trusting them Alabama.
I don't. We can go down the list.
But he's still a solid player to say who we got that we're playing 50 yards off the ball with our safeties. Like, why not try to squeeze him out of that too? This is a team that's trying to tank. And they're giving you their best players.
And he just asked for a trade. Like, he just asked for a trade. He's like, I want to get out of here. Like, if y'all gonna lose, like, let me go. And I can understand it.
If y'all gonna ship them two niggas out, let me go with them.
Exactly. I can understand how, like, an NBA player would be like, I'm gonna sit and take my check. You're not getting hit, or you're not hitting niggas. Like, I would hate to go out there every week and be like, bro, I'm busting my ass and getting beat the fuck up for y'all to tank on us, and we're not gonna go nowhere. And then you gonna draft somebody that's gonna suck for another year. And so by the time we get good, who actually on that team is gonna be on the team if the tanking works? Like, none of the dudes is gonna. Well, he was supposed to be.
He's supposed to be the leader by then. Hey, look, but I do got a good one. Dang, I had a good one to ask about, bro. It's cause well, I ain't gonna say a good one, cause I ain't gonna take too much from Lamar Jackson dog and them niggas like that.
I'm just gonna
Like,
say the fact that he was able to do it tells you something. Because
yeah,
if he was as bad as a thrower as people thought, he would have missed those throws, and he was dotting them boys. So
and
he shouldn't have been
that's
having
what
to
I
be
did say. He did what he was supposed to do.
exactly
Like, and because had he not, we would have killed him. So
true.
I say he did check off the boxes. Like, if you play him that way, he can beat you
Yeah,
out there.
and that's what he needed to do. He needed to show if you come out here and play zero over the top and try to play me that way, like I'm a running back, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And now, in another league, shout out to Mayberry, shout out to the Meats. What's it called? I had him in one league, and he got me 33. That was a great showing. I will say I don't expect him to do it again, but watching that happening on fantasy, I will say it was a
I
beauty to
do.
watch him. The dude's got talent. But me and you knew he had talent because we watched him in college, and he looked far above and beyond all these other
Like,
players.
bro, and that's one thing I look at. Now, granted, like I always take it back to Tebow. Like, I'll
Gumbo.
always take it
Let the
back to
people
Tebow.
know
I'm glad
gumbo.
he's not on here. Like, I get it. He didn't make it look the way it was supposed to look. But even when he got there, he got it done. And
And
like
that's I
Lamar
want to
Jackson is gonna get it done.
I want to stop real quick so that people know. We've said it before. Those of you that know us, the new watchers, listeners, I want to let y'all know his name is Tim Tebow, given by his mama. But here on Sports Plug, he go by Gumbo. and
Humble.
the reason why we call him Gumbo, people, I want you to pay attention to this. Chris just explained it. What happens when you first start cooking gumbo? It's just a bunch of shit in a pot. It don't look good. It don't look appetizing. It's just a bunch of raw fish and shit in a pot with potatoes and a bunch of ingredients. But you let it sit for about an hour. You let it marinate. You let it cook. You let it boil, and you open it up. Man, you got yourself a dub. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Tim Tebow gets you. It don't always
That's,
look good, but at the end of the game, it's gonna look good.
that's right.
I used to call Dak Black Gumbo, but Dak done changed it up because that looked good throughout the
And
whole
he
game.
is. Like, he really is. Dak's coach was Tim
Yeah,
Tebow's
he
the
was.
offensive coordinator when he was at Florida. Like, he wouldn't found the closest thing to Tebow. And what did he do? Beat Alabama with him.
And I will say this, even though I talk a lot of trash about Dak, but the trash talk I talk about Dak was because of inaccuracies, and so far he's proven me wrong. So I'll say I'm gonna shut
I
up
think I think the
about that
issue
for a
y'all
second.
had with Dak was Carson Wentz flashed earlier and Jared Goff flashed earlier. And it was one of those we didn't take into account Jason Garrett as the coach, the fact that the receivers were Michael Gallup was there, but he was young, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It take a while. And then nothing against Cole Beasley, but he's not Randall Cobb.
No,
Like, let's
Randall
just be
Cobb looks
real.
fresh.
Like,
I,
that's a crucial pickup that nobody talking about.
for
And
me,
Amari Cooper, I mean, he's not. I ain't gonna say he's not Dez, but I'm not gonna say he don't have Dez kind of
he's a
potential.
number one. He's a number one.
Yeah, like he got the ability to go out there and
He
get
has
you
he has
not
the
a
oh
1,500-yard season,
yeah
an
yeah
1,800-yard season.
he has the ability to be. He has the I don't want to say he is, but he has the ability to at some point be discussed in the top five because we always go over the top five receivers and what they do. And I think at some point in time he will have the ability to be up there, not necessarily because of flash and skill, but because of production. Because he's gonna produce in this offense, and he is really that cold. He's cold.
That's the only to me. It's one of those. I don't think he'll ever be in the top five. He is a top 10 receiver right now, but I think he's just in an era where I don't unless somebody just drastically like you got like I got him above like Mike Evans and all of them, dude. Like he's to me he's Keenan Allen and
He could
Amari
be in
Cooper.
that group, the second
Like,
tier of ones.
and it's not even a second tier of one. It's just like, bro, Hopkins and Julio, like
Yeah, that's different. That's
it's
different.
just
All you got to do is say it's different.
AB. Like I even AB, as crazy as this dude is to me,
Hey,
right?
you touched it.
Like as crazy as hey, look, I don't doubt that he's gonna ball. Like this is unfair putting AB in New England, but like the reality is like those dudes are just it's just different. Like Amari Cooper, if those guys weren't there, he'd be one of the best ones. But like I put honestly, bro, I kind of have him and Mike. Like I got Michael Thomas as like that fourth guy, like right at the number
They're
5. I
both
got him
kind of in that range. They're not going to be the top. We all know if you want to go AB, guys like AB, Nuke, Odell, and Julio, like those guys are just different. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for. I mean, OBJ is my dude, but we gotta see if
I'm
he's
not gonna. Oh, that like man, I just never was like he's cold. I'm not taking away, but I got him like right above. Like it's not like if Odell is a 95, Amari Cooper is a 92.
Here's why I like Odell. That's a good way to put it. But here's why I like Odell. And I think of other people. I think there are explosive receivers, but I think Odell is one of those guys that is just like slant, screen, in route. If he breaks one tackle, he's liable to take it to the house, and he's got sneaky speed. And I think that he has a different.
He'll take it to the house.
And I think that part of his game, even though I don't think he's better than DeAndre Hopkins or Julio Jones, I think that part of his game puts him in that class with them, because I don't see a lot of guys do that kind of stuff. And his route running ability is like on the levels of a guy like Chad Johnson or something. His route running ability is insane. Like when I look at Nuke, I say he's probably like one of the top 2 receivers. You could arguably say him or Julio, but I think that his prowess is these. He catches everything, like everything. He's not the fastest, but he's stronger than most DBs, and he catches everything. A guy like Odell is not necessarily gonna be stronger, but he just gets open. He just gets open.
Don't get it twisted, Odell. We ain't smashing on you. You still better than half of these dudes out there. I'm in Houston, Texas, bro, and I've been saying Nuke was the best for like the last 4 or 5, like before everybody started showing him. Like, bro, when he went out there with Brian Hoyer that year, and shout out Brian Hoyer, you got me a fantasy dub that year, throwing it exclusively. I got DeAndre Hopkins one year, bro, in like the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, no, people haven't started giving him. He deserved a lot of love a couple years ago. Now, I never said he was sorry, but I never put him in the number 1 spot.
No, it's not, and that's like we're not saying sorry. It's just when you start talking, we talking about the best of the best.
The elite.
Like these are guys that I feel like. Like the only reason, like I feel like yes, if you put Odell out, I mean he was out there with old Eli. And shit, that's about the equivalent of Brian Hoyer. And he was still making it happen.
And like these guys make it cook. Like Julio's been making it work with Matt Ryan for years, and people keep telling me that Matt Ryan's cold. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I see a guy that had a good season, but no, he's not as bad as Brian Hoyer. But the guy that don't throw Julio the ball in the red zone is crazy.
About Matt Ryan's good season, it was produced by the same guy who produced Matt Schaub's best season.
Preach.
And who produced Jimmy Garoppolo's miracle run to the top.
Preach. Kyle Shanahan is a freaking genius.
And if you pay attention out there in Minnesota, old Kirklerk ain't throwing all them interceptions no more.
He's not.
And who out there? The daddy out there.
And look who else is doing really good. And look who had a great running game this past weekend. Dalvin Cook looked unstoppable because Mike Shanahan got that zone run scheme that used to run Terrell Davis that has worked forever. He told Washington, he said, yo, RG3 gonna get hurt, but if you want me to win games, I'm gonna win these games because he's gonna run this ball. And
that's even more of the irony, bro. Like Washington gotta be looking at themselves like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what the fuck? Like this nigga dipped on y'all, Kirk dipped on y'all. And now they back together. Like he tried to tell y'all then, this is the guy.
Yeah, he did, and y'all didn't want to make it happen. Hey, look how it works out. They find their ways. Same way what I think Bruce Arians and James. Even though I can't stand James because the way he did me, I think Bruce Arians is another guy that he talks to these guys. He gets them to play properly. Now I do think James has a lot to learn because that big arm. But I could see a lot of improvement in the way he played last night, and they ran the ball well, which always helps the quarterback.
Except they didn't run it well with Ronald Jones. Like, what the fuck, Bruce Arians? You said you were going to hand the ball to Ronald Jones, and I put him in the game.
They picked O.J. Howard 19th, Chris. Niggas some liars.
But to his defense, that nigga didn't pick none of these niggas. No, so shit, all of the ass could be on the chopping block. Like, this is an audition.
He probably looked at O.J. Howard and said, you went to Alabama, right? O.J. said, yeah. He goes, oh, I know you good at blocking. right out there, lead block for us. So real quick, I want to go over before we get into. We talked about Lamar Jackson. Oh, real quick, before we get into his older cousin, what'd you think about Hollywood Brown's performance, Marquise Brown's performance on last Sunday? And what do you expect from him, moving forward? Do you think it was like a fluke, just a good game? Or do you think that he's going to be a good?
I don't think he's going to do that every game, but I think he's capable of, like, it really hinges on, as crazy as this sounds, Mark Ingram. Like, of course, they're going to eventually play good teams and teams that are trying to win football games. True. If Mark Ingram if they can create the rushing attack and get the running the ball going, like, yes. Like, at the end of the day, speed kills on the football field. And if you can get down the field and you got somebody with an accurate arm to get it out there, like, you can do that. I mean, Deshaun Jackson kills people like that. So, I mean, it's one of those. I think he can.
Go ahead. No, I was saying I'm looking up the game right now so you can see who they play next week.
Nah, they play against.
Oh, they playing the Cardinals. So, it's not going to be. They playing the Cardinals.
They sure do play the Cardinals.
Yeah. Now, I will say this is what we did bring up the Cardinals because now I'm just going to go over a couple games coming up this Sunday that we can chat about what we expect to see. Let's go ahead, Chris. We need to give a shout out.
Can I say one thing though? Because I'd be remiss to let the season go by and not say one thing.
Go ahead.
I remember sitting in a stadium with my old man. And I was watching Houston Lamar play against Galena Park North Shore in a football game. And I remember telling him, we called my brother and we was like, say, bro, if this the best that they got to offer, they might need to go find somebody else. And them boys from LSU went out there and made me look like I was right, bro. Like, man, salute to LSU, DBU. Excuse our inappropriate bad manners. Hey, look, forgive us, Father, for we do not know what we do. Like, when I tell you that their receivers was eating our DBs, bro.
Oh, Jefferson is an NFL product for sure.
Jefferson, what about the other two dudes? They all put
Chase had the Mossings. That was an incredible. No, you know what? I will give credit to all their receivers, but I think we need to give credit to Joe Burrow, bro. We have to give credit.
Joe Burrow is nice, and I was just telling Sean this earlier today. He think that they gonna be able to beat Alabama, and I was saying we looking at the UT game, and nothing against UT corners. Those dudes are gonna be better. Like the reality is they're young. Like they're playing against pros, and they're future pros, but like they're playing against pros like right now. Like those guys are about to go get paid next year, and our dudes ain't. But Alabama got some guys out there that are also about to go get paid. Now, regardless of what happens to them dudes when they get to the pros, when they in Alabama uniforms, man, them dudes be playing right. So I just don't think they gonna do Alabama the way that they did us, just mossing their DBs and stuff.
No, that's facts. I want to get into college in just.
But I had to not run from it. UT lost. It hurt. Because it was a good game. But I was also kind of torn because the young boy Chasen went out there and put up. And I saw him win North Shore State title.
Like, I will say, watching him, one name came to mind. And I know a lot of people may say, oh, my God. But because if you know me for a while, you'll be like, oh, my God. Man kind of reminds me of a Roy Williams type. But if you recall, back in the day, Roy Williams played strong safety. He didn't belong out there in coverage. I believe if you were to put a guy like Roy Williams down in the box, that's something you get. Because I kept looking at him like, this dude, number 18, don't even look like a linebacker. He just looked like a football player. Like, he's just out there making plays. Like, at one point, he hurt his leg, and they were trying to get him off, and he just looked at the coach like, hell no. Like, bro, like, take that shit up. We about to come out here and beat these niggas, man. And they did. Bro,
the saddest thing, the same way he beat Sam that night was the same way he beat him when they were in high school.
Is that why he was so confident in his press conference when he said, no shade to Sam, but he's not that good of a passer?
Dude, but that's what made me respect Sam Ehlinger, bro. Like, Russ, you can't look at that LSU game and say that they weren't hitting him with some hard shots, bro. Like, and he was getting back up. Like, that's how it looked when
Only thing I really wish I would see from Sam watching the game, I'm just watching as a bystander. But I will say, well, two things got me in that game. I will say, yes, we found out who the real DBU was, but I was surprised to see how they did against Colin Johnson, because every game you normally watch in all competition he plays against, he looks like a dude that will be at the next level, and they effectively like shut him down for a lot of that game. And you're wondering, where is he? Devin Duvernay, that kid can play some football. Straight up.
Hey,
That
put
kid
him
can play
on
some
my.
football.
Hey, look, he's what Mike Singletary was looking for that
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Like, put him on my
That
team.
team. I can win with him. I can do it.
We can coach him, we can play with him, and we can win with
Win
him.
with him.
Like, you just get him out on the field.
But I mean, we'll go over the schedule in just a second. You did want to get a chance to go over that game. I'll go ahead. Actually, you know what? We can go over NFL and college at the very end. We'll go over all those lines real quick. My team played some slouches, but I will say this: one thing as an Oklahoma fan, and as I've been watching my team all these years, I will say the defense is not. Talent is one thing, and someone said, so I think it may have been you. It may have been you when we talked on the phone that night. When I think you told me, you said, bro, and I think you said it many times before. The guys that go to Alabama, the defenders go to Alabama because they're defensive players that want to go to the league, and so they're gonna go to a school that plays defense. If you play quarterback, if you play wide receiver, for the most part, I know Alabama's got Jordan Judy, but hear me out. If you play receiver for the most part, running back, you're going to be going to these schools that throw and run the ball, like that play offense. And so when I watch the game, I'll say this: the talent level may not be that of an Alabama or shit. It may not be that of an Ohio State, but the defensive coordinator Grinch deserves a lot of credit because what he's doing is working because they're at least flying to the ball, trying to play. And Sam Hurts, I call him Eastside Jesus, courtesy of my boy Chris here, that let me know about this kid when he was at Alabama and told me, hey, this dude is special. All I will say is this: he is never satisfied after a game. And as an Oklahoma fan, I'm happy to see this because we win a lot of games in the regular season, and people always, fans that I know, they always think like, yo, we are heads and tails above every other team. Our offense is unstoppable, and we know that's not the case. So watching a guy like Jalen Hurts get out there in the Lincoln Riley offense, and I think Lincoln Riley might be the second best coach in college football. He might be.
I think it's no offense to Oklahoma, bro, but like it's one of those places where he got to figure out how to get a defense, or he gonna have to go to the SEC to show that he's the best. Because I don't think he gets the defensive guys to compete with them.
You know what? I think if he does what he wants to, because after we lost to Alabama last year, they asked about the Cowboys like that. Of course, he's probably going to end up going to the NFL once he accomplishes what he wants to in college. But I think he's going to get those
defensive players. How he can win the chip?
Because he's not getting. We talked about this last week. He's not going to get the players that are going to the SEC. He realized they're going. He's going to get those studs that normally are out there playing on the West Coast. Jeremiah Criddle is I think it's Modern Day, that crazy school out there on the West Coast. He's from there, safety. He hasn't played a whole lot, but he will be a name that you will know. Jaden Davis, he's another one. He got some tick last week. I believe he got an interception. He's going to recruit some, and Grinch is going to be able to recruit these guys. Brendan Riley Hiles, Buki, as we call him. He's another one. So they don't have all of them. We got some linemen too. We don't have all of them.
Like offensively, I feel like y'all can compete with any team in the country.
Of course.
The issue is like a school like Alabama, a school like Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, they'll stop you at least once.
Yeah.
And that's really gonna be the difference. Because schools like that are gonna score. Like
they're gonna score. They're gonna stop you more than once. They're gonna stop you more. Like what you said we talked Saturday night after the Texas game when you told me Tom Herman needs to act like he's in the big leagues. Like, you're going to get stopped. Kick your field goal, take your points, and play some defense.
I ain't want to say this, but I told the people to take Texas with the points and A&M with the points. A&M cover me. Texas, kick the field goal. Kick the fucking field goal. It's plus 6.5, bro. Kick the field goal.
And they did not. He went for it. He went for it. The guy dropped it. But even though he dropped it, they say it could have been a better pass. He could hit his hands. If you take the points during the course of that game, it would have been a closer game, and the play calling is going to be totally different throughout the course of that game.
It's more of when you create a turnover. Remember, we turned the ball over on LSU. We got the ball back. Mm-hmm. You got no points out of it. At least take the 3. Like, true. At least take the 3. You don't know what position it puts them in now. Like, they were reeling in that first half. If you take those points, you don't know what kind of momentum. You don't know what's finna, exactly. Like, their play calling changes. Like, they're gonna start feeling a little bit more pressure. They not at home. Like, but you went out there and kept leaving them in the game. Like, they're a good team too.
Let me ask you a question, because this is something that I wanted to talk about with you, because, you know what I'm saying, we don't really be out here trying to hate. We just say what we see. And you always let me know, because, you know, I'm an underdog guy, and you're just a realist. So I saw a question that was posed. I think I read it on the internet, saw it on TV, and I agreed with it. But at the same time, I said, I don't know if that's going to be something that takes them out of the playoffs. But is Clemson's schedule too easy?
To me, it is too easy, but it's not gonna take them out of the playoffs because they won it at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, but I think I for one think that it is way too easy.
I think honestly, we getting to the point where it's time to start discussing that super conference. Like, the reality is, like, not all of the SEC is good, not all of the ACC is good, not all of the Big Ten is good, not all of the Pac-12 is good. Like, it's time to take the big boys and sit them all at a table.
Or at least do what so many have called for, and just open up some more slots, shorten the season, open up some more slots, or get rid of some of those, you know, some of those New Year's 6 games that don't really matter, and make those playoff games. Just make those playoff games so we can see them play. Like last year, Texas dominated Georgia, but, you know, Georgia didn't want to be there. Years ago when Oklahoma beat Bama didn't want to be there. I think we need more slots in the playoff, because I think you got to see someone win more than one game. Like, people can win if you watch.
I think realistically they should open it up to about 6, maybe
6 or 8, or like 7 with a bye. 7 with a bye.
Like, I feel like all 5 conferences should have one representative.
Yep.
And then 2. One. Well, maybe you're right.
2 at large. 2 at large. You know what I'm saying?
Because I was gonna even say 1 for a mid-major.
Well, I'm gonna say 2 at larges. So, like, you get your conference,
like a UCF, U of H, whichever one of those schools having they run.
If they're that good, if they're that good that year. Like, I'm saying, like, you know, like, you have your 7 slots. Let's say you got Alabama, you got the Oklahomas, you got the Clemsons up at the top. You know, give them the top seeds. Alabama gets a bye, but then those 2 slots that are extra, you could fit in a team like maybe Georgia if they lost to Alabama in the championship. And in that last slot, you give to a team like UCF that's undefeated. You give to, back in the day when Boise used to have those good teams, you give it to a team like that. At least let them go out there and be the last seed. You know what I'm saying? Let them play the second seed.
I don't want to, like, my opinion, bro, I don't be wanting to see another, like, I hate seeing how they put 2 teams in the playoffs that played each other. This college, bro. You get one shot.
You get one shot.
I don't want to see y'all. Like, I don't want to see you lose to Alabama twice.
And I think if you want 2 shots, go to what the Big 12 has: a round robin format and a red ribbon, round ribbon, whatever, round robin format. Everybody plays everybody, and at the end of the season, the 2 best will play. And if that happens to be the 2 best teams in the conference playing again, then they will have to play again. I mean, this weekend's your classic. You know, there's highs and lows. I think some teams should be on upset alert this weekend. But as far as games that you're looking forward to in college, of course, I know you're looking forward to. Wait, is Texas playing this week? Because I never know their bye week. But of course,
they're playing against Rice, and I mean, the only good thing about that is, I mean, nothing. They finna go beat the brakes off of Rice. Like, it's a fun sports weekend in Houston. I mean, you got U of H playing Washington State right now, and De'Aaron King, who is a pretty solid player, like, very solid. They play tonight. Then you got UT Rice tomorrow, and then you got the Texans and Jaguars Sunday. So you got a game every day in Houston. But other than that, I mean, college-wise, this is kind of the weekend where teams go feast on the bums.
Yes, and I will say this:
it's a terrible betting weekend too.
Yeah, I will say this though, and too bad we don't have Sean here for the bet. So sorry, people, on you on this week. But I will say, Oklahoma plays UCLA. That's probably going to be a trouncing. I will say it's one game I think people should watch and pay attention. 2 games. I was actually looking through the schedule. 2 games I think people should watch and pay attention to and be ready to see some fireworks. Actually, 3. I think you're going to see some fireworks. Kentucky plays Florida. Florida State is just unpredictable, and they play Virginia. So that's probably going to be a
Florida
pretty
State
good game.
finna get the nail in their coffin. Their season is over.
And one more team.
They're finna get beat by Virginia.
One more team though that I want to give a shout out. Shout out to Herm Edwards. They play Michigan State this weekend. And watch out. Herm's doing his thing. You play to win the game.
Hey, look. And Herm got what's the name out there now coaching the coaches. I want to say Marvin Lewis is out there coaching the coaches.
Marvin Lewis got another gig. But you know what? I'm glad he's out of Cincinnati because he was just the most mediocre thing I've ever seen in my life.
Man, but he's man, bro, these dudes ain't pro coaches for nothing. I think they'll feast on these college coaches.
No, they know the game. It's a total different game in the pros. But if I had a chance to hire a bunch of pro coaches for my college program, I would do it. Shout out to Les Miles right now because I believe he's winning like 41-24. Kansas is playing some football. I said basketball. I started playing. Kansas playing some football against Boston College right now, and they're actually up. So that was pretty interesting to see. I wanted to get back into the NFL real quick.
Let's get back into the pro.
This week 2 matchups. And I want to say this real quick because we pro-black. Black is everything. But really, before we get into it, Chris, tell them what to do.
Hit that subscribe button. Bing, 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 bing. If you're trying to win your fantasy leagues, you definitely gonna want to hear every time one of these new videos get uploaded because I'm telling you, I'm coming through and I'm donkey smashing in all of my leagues but like one right now. I'm out here like Snoop in the old school music videos stomping on the buildings in New York. Like, man up, Pat. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
And in perpetual pimping, I'm sorry for you because you met Riverboat Russ this weekend, and you don't want to meet me on the riverboat.
I think that's Melvin.
It is.
Shout out to the OG. You know what I'm saying? Frat, what's up? But
Mr. Strong.
But this ain't gonna be y'all year. I'm sorry. Like somebody who's on this sportsplug video screen is going to win that league.
And that's a promise.
U of H is out here. Hey, look, Washington State is about to mess around and lose the U of H tonight. Like
they got too much on the line.
They got too much on the line. Like y'all can't be kidding me.
That's ridiculous. I want to say real quick, shout out to I got this post. Most of y'all that are watching may have already seen it, but this weekend is going to be the first weekend that all African American Heisman winning QBs are going to be playing against each other. So we had last night, we had Cam versus Winston, and then this weekend we're going to have Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson. All I got to say is Baker Mayfield's the only other one I see. I'm not going to get too far into that, and I'm not going to make nobody mad, but all I'm going to say is we here and we franchise quarterbacks, and we making it happen after getting these Heisman. So if a certain type of quarterback, wins a Heisman, you might want to, holler at him. But real quick.
And that is real. Dang, I hate it. Ain't another one. Drew Brees didn't get it or wasn't black. Because didn't Watson win the Heisman?
I think Deshaun did get it or he finished second.
Nah, he might have finished second.
I think he finished second to Baker.
I ain't never seen him in the Heisman house.
Did he finish second to Baker?
Yeah, he wasn't in the Heisman house.
Yeah, he was not in the Heisman house. But Kyler was in the Heisman house. And shout out to the Heisman house. Those are lovely commercials. I will say.
Shout out OJ. OJ should be
yes. He should be in the Heisman house. OJ should be in the Heisman house. OJ needs more commercials. OJ, if you're trying to get on the sports holler at us. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just me, you, and Chris. Yo, we kick it with you, OJ. You know what I'm saying? The juice is always fucking loose around my hood. You know what I'm saying? So I love you, OJ. We love you. You know what I'm saying? The glove did not fit, and OJ is the shit. I'm just trying to tell you.
Straight up. But either or, let's go get into week 2.
All right, so week 2 is going to consist of, let me go ahead and pull it up. I'm not prepared. Oh, Jesus. Nah, we got it. So week 2 in the NFL, we had the Buccaneers and the Panthers last night. We talked shit. You already heard me. Jameis Winston, if you're watching Sportsplug, I actually do like you. I hope you go hard in the league. But motherfucker, throw the ball to O.J. Howard. That's all I ask, bro. That's all I ask. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here. I normally don't follow trends, but I believe in Bruce Arians, and I believe that you have what it takes to throw the fucking ball to the best tight end on your team, not Mr. Brake, whatever the fuck his name is. But let's move on. Cardinals versus Ravens. I'm going to be interested in watching that. Probably going to bootleg that on the internet. But I'm probably going to watch that game. No, I'm going to watch that game because last week, I remember Sean, right when you told me your bum radar was going off for another quarterback, I forget. And y'all, we'll get to that segment one of these weeks where Chris will let you know bums because he has a bum radar that he has fine-tuned. He used to call everybody bums and just wait for you to prove it. Now he's fine-tuned his radar and he's finding bums left and right after 3 or 4 games. So about week 4 or 5, Chris is gonna come on here and tell y'all who's a bum now and who you should stick with.
I don't mean bum in the sense like, yeah, they better than us, but y'all, I'm comparing you to your constituents, and you are a bum. That'll be our new.
We're gonna say it just like that. You
of the
are
week.
a bum. Yeah.
Hey, look, and look, for the first week.
You know what? Actually, started this week 1. Give us the bum of the week.
Bum of the week. Y'all thought I was going to Miami, but I'm coming to Houston with Colvin because he got cut in the bum. Like, you can't get beat over the top by Ted Ginn, who's working on like Ted Ginn was popping in college when we was in like high school. Cause like, how you getting beat 40 yards by Ted Ginn? You, sir, are a bum.
I'm giving my bum of the week to the entire Miami defense. All of you niggas is trash. And Mika, you better get out of there before you start smelling like trash too.
Hey, look, I'm giving it to their whole franchise.
Yeah, the whole organization. The whole organization, all y'all is some bums. And that's the bum of the week. We'll get to the studs of the week in a couple of minutes. Let's go ahead and get to, real quick, out of the Cardinals and the Ravens. First, I want to hear who you got and what you're most interested in seeing in the game.
I got the Ravens beating them again, winning again this week. But I think the Cardinals again will make it somewhat competitive. Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the day, they're in that situation like the Texans where you still got a guy who can play. Like regardless of what, he's still a highly competitive, highly successful quarterback in the other ranks. And he's showing that he's a competitor. So I think they'll be in the game. But I just think ultimately Baltimore right now is just at a better point than they are. They're a more stable franchise and a more stable team. You know what I'm saying? They sit in a more stable ball club out there. So more than likely, I think Baltimore should beat them by at least, I give it about, I think they'll cover a whole 7. I think it's 3.5 or 4.5. But I think they'll beat them by at least 7 points, if that means anything.
I'm going to say this, and I watched the Lions game, and I watched the Lions dick that game away. But I will say this. I'm going to get into that. But one, what's his name? The quarterback for the Lions. Stafford. You a Dallas kid, and I love you. But motherfucker, try to win the game. Like, you just threw the ball out of bounds and said, fuck it, I'm going home.
Like, I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, I forgot. I didn't even think about, I take back everything. The ending of that game, Matthew Stafford. You aren't a bum, but because of that was a bummy way to end the game, bro.
You almost threw a pick 6 that would have ended the game. And then instead of saying, I'm going to try to win it, you threw out of bounds and said, let's go home with a tie. You kissed your sister. Like, that is horrible. You don't want to kiss your sister. Never kiss your sister. But back to the games at hand, I think the Ravens are going to win. I think that, I'm a big Kyler Murray fan. He's a DFW kid. I watched the beginning of that game. Of course, it looked horrible. It was his first game, real live action game. It was the first time they got a chance to see how the offense worked. I think as it went along and as they got into the 2-minute warning late in the game, he got kind of a groove. So the guy can throw the ball really where he needs to throw it. I think if they give him time, find a way to get him some time, and he gets used to being able to throw through lanes because he's going to get some balls batted down. He's short, but he's learning how to throw through certain lanes. And Christian Kirk looks like a very, very valuable target to him. I think them two are going to develop some chemistry, but I do think the defense of the Ravens is going to overpower them. I think it's just going to be too much. Earl Thomas being added to that defense is pretty deadly. They now don't have a lot of weak spots in that D. They have pretty much everything covered up. All they have to ask Lamar Jackson to do is just don't turn it over, and he doesn't. That's one thing that's good about him. So I think that the the Ravens are going to win. I think they're going to win by about 10 plus, to be completely honest, because I do think at some point in this game, even though Kyler doesn't throw a lot of picks, I think he will throw one to Earl or a guy around Earl in that game, because Earl does not play games, and the Cardinals' defense is not very good. Next up, we got Lions and Chargers. Me and Chris are football crackheads, so we're probably going to go over all these games. Unless we find a team that we don't like. So Chargers, Lions, I don't have too much to say. The Chargers should beat the shit out of them.
I got a question. Is Melvin Gordon slowly gonna screw himself?
Yes.
Like,
I think, okay, I'll put it this way. I don't know if he's slowly going to screw himself, but I do believe that when he says it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to come back. When he comes back, he better be the best. He better be a top 5, top 3 back. Like, the only guys we should say are better than Melvin Gordon when he comes back, and I know Le'Veon Bell is cold, but the only 2 guys that we should say are better than him are Zeke and Saquon. That's the only ones that we should say are better than him when he comes back. That's how hard he has to go. And if he goes that hard, then he'll either get his new contract or he'll get on a team that's going to pay him the money that he wants. But I don't think
the issue he finna run into, bro, and it just sucks for Melvin. Melvin Gordon's problem is he's not better than Zeke, Gurley, and who is another, like, the full time, like, he's not better than those. And Le'Veon.
Only reason I'm leaving out Gurley when I talk, and it's not disrespect to him, is I got to see him do it with the athletic knees.
Nah, I'm just saying when it comes to terms of getting that money, Gurley already got paid.
He already got paid.
So, like, in terms of getting the money, he's not better than Gurley. But what I'm looking at more of is the issue he's about to run into now is the next slate of guys who are about to get paid. They're a little bit, it's not that they're better than him, they're more versatile than him.
Yeah.
The Alvin Kamaras and the Christian McCaffreys and the Barkley. Like, Barkley gonna get paid soon.
Oh, Barkley's a bad man. And
those guys are way more versatile than Melvin Gordon. Like, Melvin Gordon is good, but it's one of those, like, if I'm the Chargers, like, you're in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Like, they can play a bunch of games, because that's how, even if he was playing, all of their games are going to come down to the end anyway. They've lost a bunch of games 2 years ago because of the field goal kick.
Yeah, and I will say this, though. When I look at Melvin Gordon, I don't, and you know me, I'm pro player all the way. I don't think that I would say, Chargers, you have to pay him. I just think you should make a decision, get rid of him, or pay him.
Texans.
Yeah, don't hold on to him too long. That's my main thing about these holdouts. If you don't want the guy, you know, if you've talked to the guy for 3 months and he's not dealing with what you're dealing with, go get something for him. Like, go get something for him. Because y'all, like you said, you're talking to these dudes in February, March, April, May. Like, you're talking to them during that time. If you can't get nothing done then, put them on the trade block, get a draft pick, because they probably could have got a draft pick from somebody. They may have had Josh Jacobs this year. You know what I'm saying? They could have done something, but you know, it's here nor there. I think that's something we're gonna watch play out. Who you got in that game? You got the Chargers or the Lions?
I got where they playing at?
They are playing in Detroit, from what it looks like right here.
I got the Lions. I was gonna pick the Lions.
Woo! Okay. Bold man. But
I think they'll have a bounce back. Like, I think they'll have a bounce. Like, they played well. They just lost.
That happens. I just think that I think Derwin James is back this week too. So I think that the Chargers defense.
Derwin James is back?
I believe he's back this week. And the combination of him, Bosa, Ingram, although, and they have
boy. That's the only reason I said it, because I thought he was out for the season.
No. I believe he's back. I may be wrong though, but I believe, because I follow him on Instagram, and I believe he said I'm ready a couple days ago. So that's what I said. I got the Chargers. I like the Chargers. You know me. I like the Chargers. I like Phillip. I just think that they need to learn how to get it done in the playoffs. Colts versus Titans. That's your division, so you should know a little bit about these teams.
I think the Titans are gonna surprise them. Okay. Like, the Titans, like the Texans, have been in one of these situations where, like, and it's weird to say this, but they've never beat the Colts. Like, never. Like, never.
Had a lot of trouble. A
Like, bro,
lot of trouble.
I mean, you gotta remember we played against Peyton Manning for all those years, and then Andrew Luck. So they've never beat those guys. So I think they're gonna come out pumped up, regardless of where they play at, to try to send a message to them.
After watching the game last week against who was that? Was that who the Colts played last week? The Chargers. After watching that game last week, I will say this: I like Jacoby Brissett. I saw him play. Let me see what that score was. I saw him play. Yeah, the Chargers beat him by 6. And so I will say this: the game. I think that team's gonna have to get used to not having Andrew Luck. But like you said years ago, when we saw him coming out of NC State, the dude can play. He just needs to go somewhere that he can play. So I really think that the Colts are going to win this game. I think that Jacoby Brissett is going to have a good year, and I think the Colts are going to. They have they didn't have the line. They got the best team they ever had. I believe last week Marlon Mack got me 27 points in the league. Marlon Mack was about, I think they said on his carries, they have some advanced stat, and he's like 89% on his carries.
Say this, bro. Tennessee got a defense.
They do. They do have a defense.
They do have a defense. Like,
so
that's why I think it's more of it's just bigger than the Colts right now. Like, they've never beat these niggas, bro. Like, we beat the Colts before. Like, they've never beat these dudes.
They've been back. And Henry is a real old school back. Like,
and they run it, they getting it to him. Like I don't think like please believe Mariota is on my bum alert. I don't think he's good as he's showing, but I think that they have a good defense and they're gonna scheme it up right for at least the first few weeks. But I just think that it's just one of those. They might not beat them, but if they don't beat them now, then they just not gonna beat these guys.
Here's my main difference, because I believe the Colts have a pretty good defense, but the difference is Jacoby Brissett's passing T.Y. Hilton, and Mariota's passing to
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis is Corey Davis what we thought he was?
But they still got Brown out there from Georgia. Like, they got some receivers. He just can't get them the ball.
You think it's him?
Yeah, I know it's him, man. He's not that good. Like, we played him a lot. He's not that good.
Real quick before we get to your other divisional game, y'all's game, you may not even want to talk about this one. It's the 49ers and the Bengals. I really don't care.
I do. I think that's going to be an interesting game for the bettors. Mess with the Bengals, because I want to say they're the underdog. If I'm not mistaken, the Bengals are the underdog. And the Bengals, that's a good game to bet on, because I think the Bengals are better than what we think, bro. They're better than what we think. Or either the Seahawks aren't that good.
Let me see if I can find the line real quick. I will say this: San Francisco. I'm waiting for it to pop. Now, I will say Tevin Coleman got hurt, so I am interested in seeing what Matt Breida does. He's on one of my fantasy team. He's on my fantasy team, so I do want to see what he does. But let's see what the line looks like real quick.
If I ain't mistaken, I want to say they're the underdogs.
Let me see. We got. That's my line searching music.
Hey, in the meantime, though, if you're looking to get a mortgage loan, man, please holler at your boy. Just get in the comment section. Shoot, if you know somebody who knows somebody who might know somebody who want to get a home or just figure out how this stuff works, holler at us, man. sportsplug, we do it all.
Hit the notification button, hit the subscribe button. And if you're into video games, if you're into sports video games, if you're like me and you just in this shit to get a chip, I mean, watch me. I play Madden 20. Now, I do this a little bit different than everybody else. Let me explain to you real quick. It's at sportsplug on Twitch. I'll be streaming tomorrow night after football at around 9 p.m. I play random teams every time. Only team I don't play with is the Redskins because they're racist and other reasons. But check me out. I'm going to be on there. Check out at sportsplug GTD if you want to see some of my highlights. I get busy there. But the line for the game is going to be, let me see. We got the Bengals minus 1.
Oh, so the point line is changed. Because at first the Bengals were the dogs. If they lay in the points, I would still lay that 1. I think the Bengals going to win by 3.
Okay. All right. I am actually a person that is wanting – I like Kyle Shanahan. So even though I'm not really looking forward to – I just hate Andy Dalton. I'm just going to be honest. And A.J. Green's out. But I think the San Francisco are gonna win the game. I mean, they're not Cincinnati's not dogs,
Where
but
they
I do.
playing at?
Looks like they're playing in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only way I would flip my vote is if they were playing in San Francisco. San
Watch,
Francisco traveling cross country too. Then
watch San Francisco. They won that first game, and they may not have been uber explosive, but watch San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan gonna drop some things, and I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, I'm a follower of Bill Belichick. Whatever he says goes because he's the best ever. Next game we got. Let me see. We got. So I've got to switch back and forth from the lines. Yo, shout out to Google, but can y'all put the lines in y'all search for me? You know what I'm saying? So next game is of course another division game for you. I know you want to get into this. Texans at Jaguars.
I think the Texans will rebound back home. Like I think they'll have a big week this week.
I think, am I stupid? If I have the Seattle Seahawks who are playing the Steelers, and if I have the Jaguars defense, which defense are you playing?
I wouldn't play against Deshaun Watson.
I have a feeling that I think we're about to watch the downfall of Bill Roethlisberger. But me personally, I think, man, it's hard for me because I'm gonna go with the Texans because Nick Foles got hurt. But the Jaguars defense is gonna wake up. So I don't think it's gonna be like a blowout, but I do think y'all are gonna win that game because I do think that the Jaguars got to do some soul searching. Y'all's quarterback that y'all got on the play where he threw a dime that y'all wanted him to throw. The reason why y'all paid him, he got hurt. He's out with the Romo. It's a breasted clavicle. I think the Texans are going to win, but I wouldn't sleep on the Jaguars or Leonard Fournette. I think that they are going to play hard, but you play to win the game, and the Texans are going to win. Vikings versus Packers, NFC North rivalry.
I really could see this going the same way as that Bears game, but I also could see the Vikings. I think I probably would take the Vikings, bro. Like, because the one thing that I know that they're gonna do is they're gonna go out there and hit Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Like they're
I'm.
going to hit him.
I like the Vikings. They're one of the few teams out here that have two dynamic receivers on both sides and a running back that has the potential to be a dynamic running back if he stays healthy. And they have a defense. I like the Vikings. I think the way you talk about the Colts, I've been watching is that's the way Green Bay has treated this division. And I think it's about time for change. Because when I look at the Green Bay Packers, I look at them and I really just say, what is Aaron Rodgers going to do to save these guys? And I think at some point in time, that's not going to work anymore. And I think it's going to start because the Bears, they could beat the Bears. The Bears have some things they need to work on because they don't
But
have
the
a
Bears could
quarterback.
have very well beat them. Like it
They
wasn't
do
like they just. It wasn't
quarterback
like
play.
I'm going into the next matchup
Yeah,
thinking they got them.
quarterback play. And I think that I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I think a lot of people say what they will about him, but I watch him play in the regular season. Yeah, some guys just have issues when it gets to be, that moment. But as far as just being a good football player, I like the way Kirk Cousins looks out there with Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is the beast, point blank period. Now it's time for me to rock. And like I said, we both have the Vikings in that one. Cowboys versus Redskins.
I
You
got
want
the
to go first?
Cowboys.
You go first. You got it.
I got the Cowboys jumping on them, bro. Like the reality is, y'all are better than these teams in y'all division. I don't think Philly is all that great either, but I'm not saying I'm not sold into them how everybody else is. But I think the Cowboys should go out here and do the Redskins. I'm not gonna say they're gonna do them the same way as the Giants, just because Case Keenum is capable. Like he's one of those guys. He can. I'm not saying he's great, but he can get the job done. So like it'll be competitive for a while, but ultimately y'all will put them away about the mid third quarter.
Here's what I'm gonna say about the game. After watching Washington last week, I will say we have to watch for Adrian Peterson getting a start. Dallas fans, watch for that. Adrian Peterson's going to run hard. Will that result in him killing us? I don't know, but he's going to run hard. It's always a pretty tough game in the beginning of the game when we play against Washington because it's such a big rivalry. But I think that game's going to end up a lot like the Philadelphia game ended up. It may look like it's close in the beginning, come out in halftime, blow them out. There is one difference, though. Philadelphia does not have the potent running game that we have. So what I want to happen, what I think needs to happen, I think the Cowboys need to go ahead and crush these dudes. Like Philly crushed them in the second half. Dallas, you need to go ahead and crush them from the start of the game to the end of the game and be dominant because that's what we're waiting to see. multiple dominant performances in a row, not just multiple wins, dominant performances. And interdivision dominant performances mean a lot, at least in my eyes. They mean a lot. I'm expecting the Cowboys to win.
That's who you're supposed to beat first. You got to win your
And
division first.
and because of the defense, I expect us to win by at least. I'm looking at the game that's probably going to end up with a score like 17-34, something like that.
That's about where I see it. I can see it about. I could see the Redskins, the Cowboys being on top, 17 to about 14 going in the half, or maybe they can be down 14-7, and then coming out and putting them away.
See, I think the first analogy has better, because I don't think that we're gonna come out with the way Dak played last week. I don't think that the same things are gonna work, because it used to be 8 in the box, blitz them. Dak would rather take a sack rather than throw the ball into any type of coverage. Now, what it looks like he's doing, if you're gonna give him those looks, he's firing that ball out, and it's gonna hit Randall Cobb. It's gonna hit 3 guys that can get yards after a catch, and that's very, very dangerous. I expect him to blow out for the Cowboys.
I think y'all gonna try to get Zeke more work, and just by the nature of it, it's gonna eat up a lot more clock. So I think Washington will be able to score. I just think in the second half, y'all gonna open it up on them.
And I just think even if we do give the Zeke ball more, which I think they're gradually going to give him the ball more, that's better for us. You know, because if you mix the run game that Zeke has with the passing ability that Dak has shown so far, we want them to run Zeke more, because every time you put 8 in the box, that's a potential 6.
That's a mismatch. But yeah, I got Dallas in that one too.
What about, we both got Dallas now? What about your former D lineman? The Seahawks are playing the Steelers. I'm gonna be quick about it. I got the Seahawks. Like I said, I think we're about to watch the decline of Ben Roethlisberger.
Because of my fantasy league, I want Ben Roethlisberger to do good, but I'm finna cut him. I'm with you, kinda, and I mean, it's gonna catch up to him that his body is shaped like how it is, and not like how TB12's is. Like, I just don't think he got much more to go. And then losing the talent that they lost around him. Like, I will say I'm gonna pick the Steelers, basically just because if they don't win this, their season is about to go downhill fast. So I'm gonna take the Steelers because they gonna give you all they got this week.
That's a good way to put it. I think that the longer the season goes, the better the Seattle Seahawks defense is going to be. Because I believe having Bobby Wagner and having Jadeveon Clowney is going to be killer. So I got them, and I like Russell West. I like Russell Wilson. I think he's a great quarterback. Don't like his nickname, Dangerous. Don't really like that. But on the football field, the dude's a menace, and not very many guys can throw that. I call it the jump shot pass, where he just throws it straight up, and that just drops like a bomb, and it drops right into the hands. And who catches it? Tyler Lockett. And I got faith in DK Metcalf whenever they get him started. I think that Russell Wilson's a guy that can make guys better. This is going to be one that's really good for us. It's the Bum Bowl. Week 2's Bum Bowl. The Bills versus the Giants. I got the Bills.
Like, the Bills, I ain't going to say the Bills are bums. They're just young. Like, they have some nice pieces, and they have a good defense. Like, at the end of the day, they have a good defense. And I think they're going to go out there and beat the Giants. Like, I like Saquon Barkley, man, but, like, it's kind of hard to just hand this guy the ball every time.
Wait, no. It's hard. They don't hand him the ball every time. Let's wait for them to try that first and see if it doesn't work. Because here's what I'm going to say like this. Next week, my bum of the week is going to be the offensive coordinator for the Giants if you do what you did last week with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, yes, my man needs at least 20 touches.
Yeah, that man needs 25 to 30. He needs the Zeke treatment. Like, he needs the ball that much. Because why even have Eli Manning out there just going to throw it? Like, you might as well put Daniel Jones out there just going to throw it.
And bro, they did put him out there at the end of the game. After saying we'd be the best idea is if we don't see Daniel Jones.
I threw him out there. I think that kind of inconsistency is ridiculous. Now, let's go. This is the one I've been waiting for. We haven't talked about this guy. We know the trade happened. We know he got released. We know he got signed. We know he's done everything from the feet to the helmet. Now there's a girl out there saying that he raped her 3 times or something like that. We got the Patriots versus the Dolphins. We already know who's going to win this game. Y'all know what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about Antonio Brown. Like 100% talk about Antonio Brown on the
Look,
Patriots.
I think the Patriots will have 3 receivers over 100 yards, and 2 running backs will get at least 3 touchdowns.
That is ridiculous. You know what I'm hoping for? I got AB in a bunch of my leagues.
I take that back, bro. I'm sorry, bro. The Patriots will win, but because it's one of their old coaches, they probably won't run the score up on them. Like, they might throw a touchdown to each guy, like all of the receivers, but I could see like a lot of running because they're not gonna try to embarrass one of their own.
Every time that ball gets thrown up, because I'm gonna say last week when I watched the game against the Steelers, I saw Philip Dorsett running wild. That's gonna be Antonio Brown in those positions. Antonio Brown is going to kill in those positions. And what I will say real quick, just to double dabble into the controversy.
See, I don't think that will be Antonio Brown.
You know?
Like, I think he's still going to kill, but you got to remember, he's Antonio Brown. So they're going to focus. Like, that's why I said this is just bullshit. Like, I'm not one of those people. I'm going to pay. Hey, look, I always pick the Patriots, bro, but I'm going to get this off my chest, bro. Like, hey, man, this is some bullshit, bro. like, come on, bro. Like, let's be real. Like, the Patriots went out there and made the Steelers look like they were a freaking college program, bro. Like, without AB, bro. Without AB. Like, what the fuck? Like, how is this shit even fair, my nigga? Like,
it's not. But Bill Belichick doesn't care about fair.
Hey, look, we can go back into the show where you were saying this is one of the off years. The Patriots always have an off year. Like, how the fuck they gonna have an off year now, my nigga? Like, that's not even fair. Like, what the fuck?
You know what? I would say this. It's amazing to me that when I say they're gonna have an off year, these niggas say, ha! And they went and got Antonio Brown. Like, bro, we lose Gronkowski. We wouldn't get possibly the best receiver in the league. And like we talked about earlier, bro, he's up there with all those guys.
Best receiver ever.
Yeah, possibly. Like, Antonio Brown is that deal at receiver. And now he's got the best quarterback ever throwing to him. I think this is going to be a blood.
Not to mention, bro, like, regardless of how you feel about Josh Gordon, my nigga, Josh Gordon is a _1 receiver on just about every team in the NFL, bro, with the exception of maybe 5, 6. Like,
if people don't have the speculation about his problems, he is the #1. He is the #1. Like, he's no doubt the #1 in most teams.
Bro, that's not fair, my nigga. We have DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. They have Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon. Like, what the fuck? And they still got Julian Edelman in the
slot. I'm about to say you're forgetting
what the
fuck? Minitron, bro. They have an embarrassment of riches. Their defense is playing good. I'll just touch on this real quick because we're not going to get too far into it. Wait till the facts come out before you judge my man Antonio Brown. And anybody that falsely accuses any man of rape, you should be locked up. Period.
Yeah. Like, I may think, hey, look, Antonio Brown is a silly man to me, bro. Fuck that. He's a clown to me. But I'll say this. I mean, I'm not going to accuse a man of rape until they come out with the words, bro. Like, this is crazy. This is just crazy. I'm not even going to get in on it because I don't want the backlash. But I'm going to just say, if it started raining and I ain't want to get wet, then I would just move from by the rain.
So
that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what he's getting at, then you should read the documents, read the papers, and you know what? I'm just gonna say this. You know me, Chris. I don't care about the backlash. Hey, if you can't get $1.6 million off a nigga, don't accuse him of rape. Like, just don't accuse him of rape. Like, don't accuse him of rape, and don't stay at his crib. You know what I'm saying? If you have something that happened earlier in life, don't stay at his crib. Be smart about it. Now, there's a lot of things I can get into, and you know what I'm saying? Check me out, sportsplug Rusty on Twitter, and holla at me. You know what I'm saying?
He masturbated and nutted on her back.
Yes. I mean, okay. Yes. Okay. I'm just going to be real. This nigga must be like secret squirrel masturbating or something if you didn't know. Like, what you talk about you didn't know. How you not know a nigga jacking off behind you? Come on,
look, man. I can see a nigga leaking on you, because leak could just come out of nowhere. But let's get to the next game, bro. So I can go to sleep.
Like I said, you got something to say to me at sportsplug Rusty on Twitter or at sportsplug GTD on Instagram, bro. Holla at me. I got a lot to say about it. But read the documents before you talk to me about it, because there's some fishy stuff going on in these streets. Punishment for those that lie. Chiefs versus Raiders. I got the Chiefs all out. I'm not. The Raiders are they're a shit show.
I
I don't
don't
care
know,
for.
man.
No,
I don't think
no,
they're a shit show. Like, I don't think they're gonna win this
I'm
game.
not going week one and all that hype from week one, and they were live and they were happy about that game. They played a game every year, bro. We see that game at 10:30. One team is not ready. One team, and I believe they say it's always the away team is not ready for that game because playing a game that late fucks with you. And so I'm gonna say that first game that was a bunch of, is a bunch of just hype. They were adrenaline rushing. They got a dub. That team's gonna be trash. I'm sorry. That team's gonna be very bad. The Chiefs are gonna go up there and put almost 50 points on them. Look
Yeah,
bad.
oh, they're gonna crush those niggas this week.
Now for the
Man,
Chris.
Washington State are some bums. How do you come out of half and kick the ball out of bounds? Like, what the fuck?
Mike Leach is doing the wrong thing. Saints and Rams.
Saints or Rams? I got the Rams. I got the Rams coming out here and just straight beating these dudes. Like,
I will say this. Someone asked me this today, and I said, every time I see one of these, and I hate them. I hate when people say, oh, this is the rematch. It's not a rematch unless y'all are back in the NFC Championship and you're playing for the same stakes. And for that reason, I think the Saints are going to come out here and win. They're going to finally quit their pouting and bitching about these calls. Yeah, you got screwed over, but they've been mad about this forever. So I think they're going to go out there. I think they're going to win the game, but I don't think it's going to phase L.A. Like if what you say is gonna happen happens, oh, the Saints are in trouble. I think this is the game that they want to win to let people know we should have won that game. Y'all know we got screwed and we're gonna beat the shit out of them and show we won now. But I do think they're gonna win the game, but I don't think it's gonna phase the Rams. I think the Rams are going out here trying to win a game. It's not the NFC East. I mean, it's not the NFC Championship, so it's not the same stakes. So it's not the same. It's just gonna be a good matchup. I do think it will be close. I think the Rams are going to win. I mean, I think the Saints are going to win, but I do think it will be close. Bears and Eagles. Bears and Broncos. My bad.
I got the Bears rebounding. Their defense is just too good. Like, Aaron Rodgers Aaron Rodgers made that happen. But outside of that pass that he got downfield to get that touchdown, and they got in the field goal range. Like, I don't know if Joe Flacco gonna be able to have the same. Like, the Bears got a defense, bro.
They have a defense, bro. Like, if you watch that game, the only reason the Bears lost is because Mitchell Trubisky couldn't find his, and they have receivers too. Mitchell,
bro, they were open. He wouldn't throw it. Like, throw the ball.
If Mitchell Trubisky, if you don't play like ass, they're gonna win a lot of games. All you got, Allen Robinson's a fool. Anthony Miller's good.
If you are watching this right now, stop watching the Sports Plug and go watch. What's my man that was the quarterback with the Ravens? Hasselbeck.
Yeah, Hasselbeck.
Was it Hasselbeck who was the Ravens quarterback?
It wasn't Hasselbeck. It was Trent Dilfer.
Go watch some Trent Dilfer film, bro. Like, you got the kind of defense that can win 3-0 out here.
How not to fuck up. Brought to you by Trent Dilfer.
Like, you just can't fuck this up, bro. Like, throw the ball to Allen Robinson and take off running. Like, you get my permission. I hate running quarterbacks because I know it leads to you getting hurt. But when your defense is this good, it's only a small window. Take off running, Mitch. Run the ball.
Oh, no. Until he puts together good games. I told this to my homie LD. His name is Mitchell. And he will be called Mitchell until he starts balling. Mitch is for ballers, like cookies are for closers. Nicknames are for ballers.
Hey, Mitchell. Hey, you gotta run, bro. Like, if you can't throw the ball, just run. Like, that defense is gonna beat people 3-0.
Yeah, I got the Bears. As long as Mitchell don't. And I know people are gonna say you just said that game was a fluke. The Broncos look terrible. They look terrible. Besides Chubb, they have three guys. They have Bradley Chubb, they have Von Miller, and they have Chris Harris Jr. After that, all them other guys are mediocre. Boom.
Let's just be real, bro. How long did it take the Cowboys to recover after that shit happened? The Texans still ain't seen it like how it has after that shit happened. Wade Phillips is real out there. Yeah. Like, whatever he does to these dudes on defense, he gets it out of them. And they don't have him. Like, We talk about JJ in Houston didn't get in. He wasn't like you really didn't hear his name or see him in that game. Man, bro, do you realize that the Raiders didn't get sacked at all that game? Like Derek Carr didn't touch the ground.
Wade
like,
Phillips is a defensive team.
I'm sorry, people. I'm watching this U of H Washington.
I was like, oh shit. All right, last game. Actually, no. Eagles versus Falcons. This actually. I know. First off, people are gonna be like Eagles, of course. I don't know.
I got the Falcons rebounding.
The Falcons are a team. I talk a lot of shit about Matt Ryan and I talk a lot about that team in general because I think they should be so much better than they are. Like I don't know what it is about them that they can't put 2 and 2 together to get 4 and get a W. But I mean, I don't know what it is. But I think that during the course of the season, they do put it together. You're gonna get. I hope so. You're gonna get a game from Julio Jones that's gonna be pretty good. I just think that this is gonna be all around just pretty good game for them.
Man, I think Minnesota has a real I think we really sleeping on how good Minnesota and Chicago are at playing defense. Like those dudes line up, man across the board, and they go get your quarterback with 4 guys playing D line, and it's hard to beat teams like that. Like not saying like Green Bay showed you can, but it's just tough when a guy goes, "I'm a man up your guys," and we just gonna come after your quarterback and hit him. Whether he throw the ball, catch, whatever, regardless, we're gonna hit your quarterback.
And I always will say after watching the game Sunday, and I know that Washington got beat. Yeah, but Washington gave up some passes. And you can't do that against these 3 receivers that they have in Atlanta because Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and Sanu, they'll put on. Wait, no. Is Sanu still out there? Or does he he's out there. He's okay. I always get it mixed up because I know he goes.
Hooper.
And Hooper.
Tight end isn't bad. Hopefully, if Devontae Freeman shows up for my fantasy team, bro. I was so sick.
Oh my God! But Devontae Freeman, I want to talk about it. I'm not even gonna hate on you because, like we said, it may have just been the Vikings. I'm gonna put you back in, Devontae. I took you out because I was gonna do Sanders. I'm gonna put you back in, Devontae, because I believe in you. And Jay Young, don't you ever in your life say that you don't copy me because you watched the show, buddy, and you picked Alex Hooper, and Alex Hooper was my tight end. Good pick. And good
this day.
You know where you get your team from, Young, and you're looking at the 2 men right here.
To this day.
All right, last game of the weekend. We're gonna wrap it up. We got the Browns versus the Jets. I'll go ahead and say this: the Browns needs this way more than the Jets. Real quick, Sam Darnold. What the fuck are you doing with Mono? Are you kissing them girls with Hot Girl Summer? You know what you told me, Chris? He out there fucking with them thoughts, bro. You got Mono.
She gonna get some Gucci if he asks for it. Real ass bitch, give a fuck about a nigga. My nigga Sam, come on, bro.
Sam Donald was out there with him, like, yeah.
I'm like, Sam, you gotta get Meg the Stallion, nigga, not the girls who just at the show.
Yeah,
like, come on, bro.
Them burnt you, bro. Like I don't even know kiss and share and drink. I don't know what it was, but that's sad. But as far as the Jets go, I got the Browns in this game for multiple reasons. I think the first game out, I think that hype train was really high. They got brought back down to earth, but the talent is still there. Odell still had his catches. I think that team just got to put it together with the talent that they have. And when I look at the Jets, I see a team falling apart. I like what they had at the beginning. We got Le'Veon Bell with an MRI. We got C.J. Mosley, their best player on their team, hurt his groin, and he was dominating that game. He's not playing. Trevor Siemian is a capable quarterback. Shout out to Mike Greenberg. He might keep your boat afloat, but at the end of the day, y'all are going to lose because Sam Darnold's what y'all need to make this go. And he's Trevor not playing.
Is on bum, boy. Like, it's an 85% chance that he'll be the bum of this week. 85. Like, I'm gonna be keeping a $150 with you. Like, how you feel about Bill Belichick's guy when he picks a quarterback?
Oh, man.
I feel the adverse opposite about John Elway when he picks a quarterback. If John Elway put his hand on your shoulder, something tell me you ain't gonna be good, son.
Oh, man,
and Trevor Siemian wasn't good. And neither was Brock Osweiler. And neither was Paxton Lynch.
Some will yell at you. He was 13-11. Yeah, we don't give a damn. That man right there is not going to take them. I think he will play a pretty good game, but Quentin Williams got hurt. The Jets just have early season falls apart. As Gates did say today, Adam Gates said, shout out to the early bye. On the other side,
the reality is the Jets. I mean, the Browns are gonna go out here and just stomp the Jets. I don't think the Browns are as good as advertised. Like, it's always something to say when you give up offensive linemen, bro, and a pretty good offensive lineman at that. Like, you need offensive linemen. Like, that's just crazy to me to trade an offensive lineman that's good unless you're trying to tank, i.e. the Dolphins. So I do think that the Browns will beat the Jets, but they gonna struggle, bro. Like, you can't give up good offensive linemen just to get defensive linemen and shit. You in an offensive league.
I will say this, and I'm glad that we saved this for last because me and you both around the same age, so we can sit here and I'm gonna tell you what I saw. I don't know if you watched Get Up this morning, but I'm gonna tell you what I saw, and I want to say, Jonathan Vilma, you were full of shit. So Odell came out and said Greg Williams is a dirty coach, and Jonathan Vilma and a bunch of other people said, "Nah, these guys just play hard." Jonathan Vilma, Sean Payton got suspended for a year because you and Greg Williams had a bounty on Brett Favre. Brett Favre is one of the best quarterbacks ever, and we have evidence and tape of you niggas hitting him after he threw the ball, trying to break his ankle. Money bets to see.
Break him.
Who could put Brett Favre?
He even said he was asking him. Like, it was somebody on his, like, an old teammate. He was like, "What's up, bro? Why y'all hitting me after the play like this?"
Oh, that's too. And I will say this: everybody's saying they're just playing hard. Odell don't know what they're talking about. Odell, and I want to say I may be off by a year, but Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins, I believe, when Odell was a rookie or in his first years in the league. But those of us who have watched the Redskins play, if you've watched Greg Williams, everybody knows who Greg Williams is because of Bounty Gate. How could you go on TV and tell us, nah, they just playing hard? Bro, it's done. What is it called? Statute of limitations? Like, hey, look. It's done, bro. They are
like, we just letting you slide, bro. We know what you out here doing.
Yeah, stop calling it playing hard. You niggas out here trying to hurt people. And I just wanted to say, before we ended up and wrap it up, I just want to say, I know me and you both watched that, bro. That was clear. It was clear as day. Like, one dude grabbing Brett Favre by the neck and the other dude, like, slamming into his knees. And the dude, 40 years old.
I haven't seen anything like that in my life to this day.
But say we were playing hard. Your head coach got suspended for a year. They told Sean Payton, bro, because you let them act like that, we're not going to let you coach. And you want to say he's not going for cheap shots. Odell, watch your back this weekend. But I do got the Browns. Real quick. That's that. We're going to wrap it up with that real quick. Actually, let's wrap it up with this because we did our bums of the week. But I want to give a special honorable mention to the USA FIBA squad because you backup niggas went out there and got 7. Like, it ain't what I'm looking for. Talk about gold is all we want. Y'all went out there and y'all let the Serbian coach say, "Let God help you if you play us." And then y'all went out there and got beat. I don't care what y'all say. We had the best player on the team. But it's USA basketball. If y'all don't do better than this, and one more thing I'm going to add is my last rant before I go. Devin Booker, fuck you. Because you chose not to play with the FIBA team to complain about double teams and pick up. You piece of shit. You shouldn't even have done that. And I hope you don't get a chance to play on the next team. But that rant's over. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Devin Booker, you a piece of shit for that. Other than that, though, you got
of the week.
Oh, go ahead. Stud of the week. My bad.
Stud of the week. Let me see. I got two. Two entities. Number two goes to the LSU receivers. Like, those dudes went out there and lit QTDB. They lit them up. So LSU receiving group as a whole was stud. Their number 2.
College in there. I have a college in there.
But stud of the week, Sammy Watkins. I let the guy. Like, hey,
I'm gonna personally apologize because I went in. Was it last week when I went in on Clemson receivers and said the only one that showed us something was Nuke, and Sammy Watkins came out there and gave me a big fuck you. And so I will say, good job, my brother.
Bro, I've drafted Sammy Watkins in fantasy football every year for him to do nothing. And the one year I don't get him, he comes out here in the first week and goes nutty nigga ape shit.
Yeah, anyway, with Hamburger Nelson, bro. He was going in.
So salute salute to Sammy Watkins, bro. Like, that was a heck of a game.
Keep on balling, my brother. And now what I want to say, my stud of the week, and I have to give him stud of the week because I talked so much shit about him. I said we shouldn't pay him. Dak Prescott, you get stud of the week because you went out there and you threw dots. You gave me a lot of points in fantasy, and you're giving me what I want to see. And because I talked all this shit about your accuracy and you pushing the ball downfield, you were the stud of the week in my book because you went out there and showed us I worked this summer. Real quick before we go, again, I want y'all to go ahead and hit that notification button if you like what you listen to. Hit that bell so you can see us when we come. And hit our comment section. If you want to know something more, if you want us to talk about your team, let us know what you want information about because we right here, we watch it all. And when our boys get back, they watch it all. So we're willing to cover anything and everything you got.
Like, I'm sitting here watching Washington State U of H on a Friday night.
Yes.
And I watched North Carolina lose such a miserable way to Wake Forest.
I was watching IMG Academy while I was eating a burger today. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a high school game home too. Like,
I'll let y'all know. Me and this nigga right here will go watch some 8th graders go play. Like, we don't care. Like, we just want to see some niggas ball. So,
and a lady invited me out to her son's Pee-wee game. I might go watch them.
You need to go. Hey, you need to go. They might ball out. But, look for that. That's a new segment that's going to be on the show. Every week, we're going to give you our bumps, and we're going to give you our studs. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep it even. Chris, you got anything else you want to shout out to the people real quick? Let them know anything you want to advertise. If anybody else that needs something, throw it out there for the people.
Man, this week I'm only shouting out, bro. I'm just glad football is back, bro. I don't really have nothing, bro. Like, I guess shout out to the gas station I'm gonna go to get me a soda or something to drink. Like, hey, if Coca-Cola, Black in My House, Swishers, holla at your boy, man. Like we out here on this sports plug and plug us in. We can get y'all plugged in and we can work that.
You know what I'm saying? And let me say, he said all the Cokes. Hey, look, Dr. Pepper, look in my eyes. 23 flavors made by a doctor that may have been a doctor, may not have been a doctor. I think he was a doctor. Lemon, cherry. Man, it tastes like barbecue sauce with soda water in it. Man, it's made for Texas. Holla at me. I just want some free Dr. Pepper.
Hey, look, and Pluckers. Shout out to Pluckers for the Dr. Pepper wing sauce, bro. They got the wing sauce, and it go hard. Like, I had it this weekend.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Watch the Texans. I had it Monday. It actually is good at Pluckers. So Pluckers, hey, holla at us. I'll eat 100 wings during the sports plug, dripped in Dr. Pepper sauce, watching a game.
And I'll eat a flavor of them too. And that was Shameless Plugs brought to you by Sportsplug. So we want to tell everybody that did watch, thank you for watching. Again, hit the comment section. Remember, you can listen to it. If you don't have time to watch us on YouTube, you can always catch us on your favorite streaming platform or podcast streaming platforms, Spotify, Google. We'll be on Apple. By the time we put this video out, we will be on Apple Podcasts as well. So, go ahead and holler at us if you want to listen to us.
And if you on YouTube, put your picks in the comment section. Let's see how you do against the sports plug. We'll come up with something. We'll see how it go at the end of the season. If you can outpick the sports plug, maybe we can go ahead and raffle off something your direction.
And you can always holler at me, of course, on various social media networks. It is Sportsplug Rusty J. That's on the Twitter. I am Sportsplug GTD. That is on the Instagram. Holler at me where you want to holler at me. You can holler at me. We love to talk. Let's get plugged into your team.
Deuce.
Hoorah.